Hi, everyone. Welcome to the River's Edge. Super excited to have Blossom Goodchild on today with us. Blossom is a professional direct voice channeling medium. She has been channeling the Native American Indian spirit energy White Cloud for 19 years now and shares his messages of unconditional love by means of personal readings, videos, and group events. Blossom began communicating with the Federation of Light in 2005, and their conversations are now world-renowned. Blossom considers it to be an honor to assist White Cloud and the Federation of Light in getting their important messages out to as many souls as possible in order to raise the vibration of the planet. Thank you so much for being here.
You're most welcome, Kelly. Really happy to be with you again. Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. Our last video together, I want to say it was October, maybe. Do you remember?
I don't know. Time. I don't remember what went on yesterday, to be honest. I just, time is just out the window for me these days.
You know what? It was October because we kept talking about the announcement that was supposed to happen before the election. Okay. That famous announcement. I just remember that talking about that.
Yeah. I wonder still, I don't necessarily bring it up at the moment because I think it's a bit, not pointless, but we all know where we're at and it hasn't happened yet. But whatever it's going to be, I just don't know what at all. There's so much speculation what it is going to be, but I still feel it's in the pipeline, and that's nothing that they might have told me because I don't work with them at all. The only time that I work with them is when I do my channelings and I put them out. So everything that I get, I've given out to the public. So it's not like I get any private information and keep it to myself. I just wouldn't feel comfortable at all doing that. So all we can do, as I keep saying, Kelly, is just wait and see how it all pans out, really.
Yeah, let's start from I got to put him in his bed here.
Oh, what a cutie.
Oh, you didn't get to meet him last time. This is Sammy.
Oh, bless. I got my husband to take my dog out when I do these kind of things in case he barks at a bird outside or something like that. So, yeah, I get my husband and my dog to leave the premises.
You have your time, your silence. Hey, do you mind if we start from the beginning? Because maybe some people don't know what Federation of Light is. Can you describe what that is?
I'd like to, but I don't really know myself. It's really the Federation of Light. I started channeling them in 2005. I went to see a lady for a reading, which I don't do anymore, but it's a long time ago. And she said, and I'd written 3 books by then, which was just basically transcribing White Cloud's meetings into books, as he said I would do. And then I went for this reading, and this lady said to me, "You are to be writing another book, and it won't be with White Cloud, it will be with different people." And with White Cloud always I sat at in a meeting and brought him through and we recorded it, and that's how it went into the books. Whereas with this, I was told to sit down at the computer and just say hello and see what came through. So the next day I began this book called The Bridge. And I sat at my computer, it was on my birthday, and I just said, well, not sure, what's supposed to come. And I think at the beginning of The Bridge, it is a bit of the I am present. They don't say, hello, we are the Federation of Light. Somewhere within that book, it sort of moved over to them being the Federation of Light. And to be honest, at that time, Kelly, I didn't really know much about the Galactic Federation I didn't know about all that kind of stuff, really. It's not like I'd, followed much of it at all. And so I just went every day. I went for half an hour, I was told, just to sit and channel. And literally, so it was just as it is now. No, I don't hear any voice. I just have telepathically the thoughts come through. And so when I'm doing my channelings, or practically every week now I do them, I will ask my question or talk to them, and instantly the thought comes in as to what they say. There's no voice or anything. I know when it's working because if they're not around, which is very rare, literally there's no thought coming through. It just doesn't. I'm waiting and there's nothing. They say they are the overseers of the overseers. They prefer to be called, it seems, the Federation of Light. They've never called themselves the Galactic Federation of Light. And I have asked about that, and they say that they've sort of said really that the Galactic Federation of Light is this massive organization, really. And so whether they are the overseers of 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 that, I truly don't know. That's how they come through. And I feel, I don't like with White Cloud, I feel it is one particular energy, whereas with the Federation, it doesn't feel like one, it feels like a consciousness type of thing. Yeah.
And how often do you channel them?
Usually every week. It usually is sort of every week. Some days I might do it on a Thursday and not get round to posting it till the Sunday because I've got other things on, because you've got to do once you've done it. I'm typing so fast. There's a lot of spelling mistakes and things like that. So I have to go through it, 4 or 5 times for that before I post it. And some days I do it actually on that Sunday, but to do that, it takes up most, 5 hours of my Sunday really or something. So, it does. I mean, I guess anybody that does proofreading or anything like that, it does take a long time. And I think I've done it. And then I'll go through it again. I think, oh no, there's a comma missing there, or just little things like that. So it does take quite a long time to get it up to, and I'm always grateful if there's a mistake, somebody might write in and say, you spelt R-O-U-R instead of A-R-E or something. And I just, in those 5 times, I just haven't seen it, So and I'm always grateful for that because I like to have it as professional as possible.
Yeah, when you were advertising for this video, you said you put love instead of live by accident.
I am so sorry. I think I put Kelly, I spelt your name wrong on my newsletter. And then somebody wrote in and said, do you realize you put join us for a love chat? And I thought it sounds like one of those phone calls you make when you're feeling lonely.
If you guys are lonely, you came to the right place.
So I was like, oh, well, yes, I guess in a way it is a love chat, because that's what the Federation and White Cloud are all about,
Truly they are. I concur. Well, I have some other questions I want to ask you, but we'll check in with your audience and see. Yeah. Debbie Martin from Las Vegas, Nevada is here. Debbie is looking forward to this interview. She loves you. She's been watching you for several years now. It's fun. Nice. Want to jump 1, 2, 3? Looking forward to this, although it's 1 a.m. there, so they're falling asleep.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah.
Late for the UK.
Appreciate it.
Let's see if there's any questions in here. No one has any questions yet. So you guys, if you have any questions, please write in to Blossom. But so I want to know what FOL is, which you told me, and what is their mission?
I feel it is to help us to understand who we are and to give us encouragement to in these really tricky times to carry on and remain in our love space, which I don't know about you, Kelly, but I'm finding quite hard to do these days. It really, I think the energy of the entire planet at the moment is so, as they call it, topsy-turvy. And I find it really difficult to stay in that happy, bright space at this time. And to be honest, where I live, my God, compared to people in the UK or people in lockdown, it really is. It's like 2 separate planets. It really, I've never worn a mask. If I go out, I might see one person wearing a mask. It's so different for where we are, and we really do appreciate how blessed we are. But so the Federation, I think their mission is to just help us to understand, and White Cloud's mission as well, about love. And of course, within all this that's going on at the time, it can get very it can be taken out. We can veer away from that, as you know, the announcement or whatever, because it's part of what's going on. But I think what they're trying to do is to, all the time they're talking about, to keep saying this mantra of I am the light, I am the love, I am the truth, I am. You can say, just for clarification, I am the love, I am the light. People say which different one first. That truly is all right. And we're told that within that, there is much coding. And I don't understand codes at all, but there's much coding which that helps us get into our center space. And I really feel that myself, because it's like a constant thing for me going on in my head
all the time.
And I have beautiful emails from people just saying, oh, the other day such and such happened. So I came into, I sat down and I said the mantra and blah, blah, blah. Or their 6-year-old kid might come up to them and say, Mummy, take a breath. Say, I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. It's beautiful that kids are doing it as well. Mm. And whatever that coding is or does, it seems to be so strong in bringing us back into our center. It doesn't take away, certainly for me, doesn't take away different things that are going on in the world because they're in your face, but it does help us for me, to remain in that strength, and I think that is very much their mission, is to help us to remember who we are and why we're here, this mission that's being spoken of. And if I may, Kelly, just go on, because a lot of people are asking, when they're saying, which they have been all along, that this topsy-turviness is going to get a lot worse. And people are going, oh my God, I can't take any more, let alone, what on earth, how could it possibly get worse? They haven't actually. They've just said in ways of everything. For what it's worth, and I might ask them this time, and they might agree or might not when I next do the channeling, my feeling about it is that it's going to get worse in the ways of getting better, in the sense that I think when the truth, deep truth starts coming out on the mainstream media, etc., that those who are still very much asleep, those who are even just opening their eyelids a little, there is going to be so much confusion and unrest and anger and so much that I think then that's what they mean by things getting worse, from the point of view of
the reactions.
Just not knowing what is going on. That is my interpretation. And I think, when I do my channeling this week, because so many people have said about it, because they mentioned it last week, that everything was going to get worse, that I might sort of try and get from them more information about that,
And whenever you say people being confused, you mean because of announcements being made and people won't understand?
That's what I feel. People go down different rabbit holes, and I think the wisest thing to do is to be open to, okay, I've heard that, that's a possibility there, go down, whatever, to be open to it, but not necessarily take it all on board, because there's so much disinformation as well, just to throw that into the mix, So I think that, and for what we are all beginning to understand about different things, it's up to us whether we feel that as a truth or not in our hearts. But should it be that huge announcements are made of what's been going on our planet, then I think a lot of people who do not have a clue are literally going to lose it. And White Cloud in the past, many, many years ago, and I felt at the time, you might be talking about 2012, but that's long gone, was like, that people are literally, when they they're going to drop down dead, some people, because it literally will shock their understanding of who we are. And I felt then that was more to do with if an event was coming in the sky and all this kind of stuff, you know. But now I think truly it could well apply, as can many of the channelings going way, way back and what White Cloud said, to, you know, to what may lie ahead in months to come. I don't know. Time frame, I have no idea.
So the announcements, you mean like the dark and evil actions that are going on in the world?
I feel that it's definitely a fight between the light and the dark. And we're being told that the light has won and that this is just all playing out now. You know, a lot of people feel, you know, that sit back and watch the movie is the thing, and just let it all play out. And that I feel if you're going to trust the divine plan, you know, if we're being told this is a divine plan. So the divine plan, and the Federation have said, you know, like I feel at the moment, you know, I have friends in the UK who have taken the vaccine and my heart, because I'm totally opposed to taking the vaccine myself. You'd have to kill me first, basically.
Me too.
Have had it in England, and they're totally unaware of, you know, other things that are going on about vaccines, and they're queuing up to get them. And like many people, I've just sort of gone a bit quiet there. I just go, oh, okay, because it's not any. I think a lot of people are in this position. They're so. Honestly, Kelly, it's so sad, the emails I get from people. You know, their husbands have left them. You know what I mean? Their family don't talk to them. Their friends, they've lost everything because of sticking to their truth, you know, and they just have to hold on. And I think with, you know, like for me, when I'm talking to my friends in England, perhaps 7 months ago, I might have gone, oh, you know, all the vaccine's dodgy. But then we've all got used to this wall, you know, from people that are asleep who think we're absolute nutcases. And I think it's just, you know, White Cloud has said, we did a little chat on it. At the moment, unless you feel it really necessary, just keep quiet. Unless it's within you to send something about the vaccines to somebody, or then that's your role. Do that. But it's so difficult because of this huge divide. And so I think, you know, and then you feel a bit guilty thinking, well, should I have said something about the vaccines? But then should I not? Is it like the Federation said, it's people's own journey. And at the moment, those people say over in England, that's what they're hanging out for. And not everybody in England, because I have many followers from England who say they wouldn't touch it, you know, this, that, and the other. But it is such a difficult situation to be in. And so, you know, things like that, when those truths come out, I think people who have no idea, they're just, you know, and maybe they've had the vaccine, you know, who knows? It's just a very difficult time for everybody, I think, because there's such a divide between friends and families. I think that it's not just about people who are for one party and other people are for the other and all that. That's another thing altogether. It's when this divide between people you love deeply is taking place. It's such a heart-wrenching time to have to hold on to your truth and march onwards.
Yeah, and it is right. It's their own journey. It's that people have to make their own decisions, and you can't force someone to think the way you do, right? They have to figure it out on their own.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And sometimes it's just maybe not up to us to say anything at this time, that they'll find out in the way that they are meant to find out, I guess, you know.
And I heard your channeling, and the Federation of Light said, whether it's from the vaccine or something else, when it's your time to go, you're going to go. Your soul makes the decision, whether it's a vaccine or you're hit by a car or whatever it is.
That's right. Yeah, White Cloud has said that, for a long time, that, when we first started working together. And, you do sort of, then I question it, but I don't anymore. I really feel that, he says that there are no accidents. And you think, well, I think that car crash was an accident, or I think, this was whatever. But at the same point, I don't know whether it means that if that car crash didn't happen, by one split second of something taking place, of you going down the wrong road or something, does that mean that you're then going to go around the other corner and get hit by a bus, or drop dead because your time was supposed, or maybe your time wasn't supposed to be on that. It's so complicated to know. I have heard, and I don't, again, these are just, I think, it's quite a thing to know that there's so much information about everything, about what's not of this planet and what is. And one just has to go with their heart. It's not that I'm saying what White Cloud is saying is a load of rubbish at all. I'm just saying this is what has been brought through, and I assume it is a truth, but it doesn't have to be everybody's truth. And I think I was, I don't know if it was White Cloud even that said it, but you are given 3 opportunities if you want to leave the planet early or whatever. Or I don't know if that's for everybody or for some people, I don't know. And you can, because in the past, when I've been quite depressed, I have sort of said, oh, just get me off this planet, just.
I've said it many times. I know it well.
Scotty type of thing. And then it's as if I've heard this voice literally going, are you ready? Do you want to come back? And I'm like, wait a minute, do I know? Perhaps not, just having a bad day. And I think, would that have been one of those times when, if I wanted to go, I could take that opportunity? I truly don't know. But, I do feel as well that, as that's been said so many times, there is time to be born and a time to die. And I don't know how that all works, but it sort of gives you comfort in a way, because for those that might, die, whatever, it's just their time to go.
Yep, I completely, and I think it does make you feel better, or makes me feel better, because it's like there are no accidents. You were ready. It was your time. Like when my brother died 2 years ago, it was very, very difficult losing him. But then I know it was his soul ready to go. And it makes you feel better. Makes me feel better.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Mm.
So during these, I know you said it has been crazy time for all of us. And do you have any, how has it been crazy for you? Like, do you have any bad habits that are I have been eating like crazy, and I can't blame it on anything but myself, but I just feel like I'm out of control. Are
you in lockdown, Kelly?
We have outdoor dining that just opened up, and we've been in lockdown pretty much the whole year.
Yeah. You see, this is my issue, is that I get down with it all. And I truly, compared to people that have been in lockdown and all sorts of things, I truly have nothing to be down about. I just get down because I'm frustrated at the entire situation. And you hear different things, and you just think, when is there going to be something that we can go hooray about, or whatever it might be? For me, that having to cope, truly, I go back to the mantra. That's my coping mechanism, because I could just, sometimes I get, which is so unlike me, I find myself getting angry, and also I am aware. I get emails from people saying, don't take on board, don't all these stuff in the emails, and don't give away your power, and and I'm not talking about the nasty emails. That's a different thing altogether. But I, maybe like you as well, Kelly, I get many emails and people are just sharing because they don't know who else to share with, really, because they've got nobody they can talk to about the way they feel, etc. And it's not like people were saying to me, you're carrying the weight of the world on, and everybody's, on your shoulders. Well, I don't feel I am, but I'm also, you can't help but be aware of how it is out there for many, many, many people. And so I do sort of despair sometimes, even though one has to keep trusting in the plan and all that. I just find it difficult, even when I'm in a really good mood these days, to be in my fullest good mood.
I know. Do you think sometimes that we're meant to, because I go back, I'm like, I've been struggling so much to get my energy up to go I miss my gym terribly. It hasn't been open in a year. It's awful, but I could go outside and exercise. I just don't want to go out in the winter and the cold weather. I just don't want to do it. Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, sometimes maybe it's just good to be low key, just chill out and let things pass, I guess, instead of fighting it all the time.
That's it. And, I think like for me and everybody, and, we consider ourselves to be light workers, that we feel, got to stay on top of it all, got to keep shining that bright light. And, that's what we're here to do. So let's not fail. Let's do that. Let's do that. Let's do that. But sometimes I think, you know what, today, no, haven't got it in me today to, do a little tap dance, and haven't got it in me this week, maybe. And I'm just, it's like, because we are in amongst it, and whatever our particular individual situation is, there is still, Kelly, the energies of the entire planet that are floating around everywhere. It's part of the consciousness at the moment, this what is going on. So you can't avoid it, I don't feel, because it's there. And yes, you can put your protection up and you can shine your light. But for me personally, at the end of the day, I'm only human, and whether we are, doing our best to be light workers, we are allowed to go, do you know what? It is really, really tough right now down here, and we are finding it really hard to shine that light. Some people are doing grand. Let me tell you, I have emails, people going, I'm in a great space and I'm holding the light, and I'm like, marvelous.
I'm just gonna go crawl in bed. I'll see you. I'll see you another day.
It really. I think we have to. I think the Federation said the other week about you are exceeding expectations, and I was like, oh, good, because it doesn't feel like we are. Yet we must be, because just being who we are, whether we're radiantly high or miserably low on any given day, we are still that light, and so I don't feel it's like, I'll just, universe, don't look at me today, I'm just having a bad day. We are that light regardless. And when we can be light and strong and laughing, because again, I do think that laughter, I've said before, I find laughing really easy. I make myself laugh. Just getting in my car, something will happen and I'll make myself laugh.
All the time. Yeah, he's funny.
You just got to, I find, whereas I do understand that many people don't. They don't find it easy to laugh. And laughter is such a vibration lifter, it really is. Like if you're feeling miserable, put on, YouTube's full of, my little grandson, he loves watching dogs, little funny dog videos and things. And I think, oh, God, really? And we put it on. Well, I laugh my head off, what I mean? It's like, it's getting away from it all and trying to find that joy from wherever you may be able to find it.
Yeah, it is so huge. You're right. Laughter is an immediate mood lifter. I love it.
Yeah.
So going back to the announcement, that was supposed to happen? We thought it was going to happen before the election, and then I was thinking
it was a big one. about the January the, was it January the 6th or February the 6th?
It was going to be before the election, November 3rd. And then, it being pushed out doesn't mean that our whole timeline is pushed out, right? It just means that maybe things are changing the way it was going to happen. Does that make sense? What I just said?
I truly, it baffles me, all this, Kelly. I don't have the answers at all. And, and obviously in the past as well, I've had the same kind of thing where they've said something and it doesn't necessarily take place. And here I still am continuing on. Some people think I'm nuts. And, I had an email recently saying, have you ever considered the fact, Blossom, that you are in an abusive relationship with these beings? Because it's very narcissistic that they tell you this and da 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 da, and then and then it doesn't happen, and that they fill you with love, and my advice would be get out of there because you keep falling for it, da 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 da. I'm not saying, Kelly, that I think up yours to that person at all, because I can totally see what they are saying. What I'm saying is that I've been working with the Federation now for 15 years, and I've been there, done it with all those kind of suggestions about them. And so I now know in my heart that somebody else may see that to be the case, and that's their truth. Whereas I know in my heart now that that isn't my truth, that they're stringing me along and they're not who they say they are. If people choose to feel that, then that's walk away, really walk away. For me, it feels right in my heart to carry on doing this. And regardless of, even if down the track something else doesn't come about, the reason they are here, as we talked about, is to teach us about love and to remember who we are. And I know with the greatest of humility and respect that they are doing that for thousands and thousands of people. And that's why I carry on. Because there are times when I go, oh dear, more than oh dear, let me tell you. There are times when I'm just like, oh God, I just can't do this anymore. But then I know that they are changing the lives of so many people through them understanding themselves about love.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering if we're not waking up as fast as maybe they thought we would, and the timeline changed because of that, or if the
thing is, who would know? Who would know? This is the thing. It's very difficult. People write in asking me to ask so many varied questions, and I find it quite difficult to even. There are some questions I think, no, it's not even in my being to ask that, because they're not. I don't know how to explain it, Kelly. They're not fortune tellers, as they say. They're not here. I find it quite tricky that some things I just think, nah, that's not where we are at to ask that, or whatever it may be. I don't know. It's tricky. It's tricky because, it has been said many times in different times, can you not get them to talk about something else other than love? And you go, well, actually, clearly you haven't got it, because that's why they are here to do this, And so for the whole thing about what is taking place, what is going to take place, how is it all going to pan out, what's going to be in the future in this new time, which we're all hanging on, hopefully for, I think really at the end of the day, it is down to us. That's why they're reminding us who we are, because we are the creators of this new world that is to come. It's not like, oh, here we go, we'll drop this little new world in for you and it's all love and light. And we are the ones that are moving in and taking this world into the new. And so what are we bringing into it? Not what they are going to drop down there for us. It's what are we prepared to do? And I think we're all doing so well to make that new world happen. And people, it is about visualizing and manifesting a world where there is none of this hate and what is going on now. But I also, and I hope many are the same as me, it's like I find that pretty hard to do as well, because it's like I don't know what that looks like. So all you can do is like, well, when I'm laughing, when I'm looking at a new baby, when I'm feeling love for my friend that I'm talking to, that's my feeling of love. And I feel it so strongly. And I love that. I love being alive when I'm feeling that love. And so I feel that for me, because I don't quite know how to visualize this new world, that it's about feeling this new world, feeling that we can feel that love all the time, because there isn't anything to you don't put on the news and they'll dig up anything that's about the local newspaper man that was stabbed 5 times, and anything to just push us down. We pray that there won't be any of that, so that we'd be able to remain in this place of who we are.
And are we moving? I don't know if I ever hear you use the words, are we moving into 5D, the fifth dimension, the world, Mother Gaia and everyone? Is that what we're doing right now? We're going.
Well, I guess. And I only say that, Kelly, because I don't think the Federation have ever said you are moving into 5D.
Yeah, using the language.
They don't use that kind of language, and so I've sort of hear it from other. It's been around for a long time. This 5D, not to be confused with 5G, but and so to me, I presume it is the same thing, that we are moving into this higher vibration, of love, and into a much, much better world. And that gives me consolation to the fact that, when they say we're doing so well, that we are bang smack in the middle of that change. Well, I don't know if we're in the middle, but we are definitely within that change. And that transformation is without question taking place, so that, is this not what we are here for? Let's hope so, because they're saying this is, there were so many that wanted to be here and they volunteered at this time, but only so many could be here. So we were the chosen ones, because we're the strongest of the strong, although we don't always feel like it. And so to bring us through into this higher vibration of life, really, of how life should be. And so I think we just have to, I think all of us in our hearts are just hanging on for that, all the things about, it's so much from different messengers about, that there's going to be a time when an event comes and, it's going to be like a solar flash and everybody will feel it and all that. They've talked about that for a long time.
I was going to ask, what is the event? I saw that on your website. What does that refer to, the event?
The event, White Cloud has talked about it, way before 2012, and it's always been talked about. And they say it is a time when this wave of energy, this wave of love, like nothing we have ever experienced, will literally come over the planet. And we will, I always feel, I think I'd fall to my knees, and people say, and I don't go on my knees for anybody. I think, well, entirely up to you. Not saying you've got to, but I feel that wave of love would make me melt to my knees in awe, really, of what truth and love feel like. And that from that moment, there won't be anybody that isn't affected by that. Depending on where you are already at in your awakening, you will shift. Everything has to shift. Everything within that has to shift. And as far as I'm aware, everything within other planetary aspects will also shift. Why, when we're such a little tiny pixel of a planet, why it's going to be for us, I don't know. But from that moment on, it's interesting because that's a while ago. That's when I thought would be when we would be helping people to understand what's just happened, because they'd be lost and people would die with shock and lose their minds and all that. And now it's sort of that same scenario could be applied to if announcements come about truth that will shock us all, etc. So some people are saying, you know, an event is coming soon. We don't use the word soon anymore. Soon. No. Oh my God, in my vocabulary. But that isn't to say that that isn't to come. But I don't know whether that's next week or in 200 years' time. You know, I really don't. But it's been talked about throughout all religions, scriptures. You know, it's always been in the pipeline, this event type thing from the skies or from the sun, or that will just literally lift the vibration like that, and everything will change. You know, and that's the thing of like, bring it on, then bring it on. What's the what's the hesitation? You know, we're already doing, but obviously it just, when they say all the time, if you could only see it from the bigger picture, and I go, yeah, but we can't. We can't see it from the bigger picture. You know, I'm sure we would be able to understand so much more. And then people say, well, could they not just take us up there for 5 minutes and let us see what the bigger picture is, drop us back down, and we'll be good to go? Yeah. Lovely, but clearly that isn't the way it's meant to be, you know. So there is so much that we just don't understand. There is so much that the Federation talks about that say they cannot indulge in that particular conversation. And I think at the end of the day, within all of that, Kelly, again, it's like, so what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? You turn back to love. You go back to, oh yes, this is love. This is why we're here, to shine our light and to be love.
You think it'll get to a point where people need to band together and stand up for our rights? Like, we're not going to wear a mask. We're not going to get the vaccine. Whatever they try to mandate, people are going to have to unite and just say, we're not going to take it anymore.
Well, I think people are doing that already, really. You know what I mean? In some countries, people are just like, they're just...
Yeah, not in California.
You know, yeah, Netherlands, I think. And, you know, they're just, you know, good for them, good for them. The Federation have said that it's not going to come to mandatory vaccinations. Now, again... looks like they've been wrong before, not knocking them, but who knows? You know, who knows? And I think that would be, if you wanted to go down the fear factor, that would definitely be the thing. You know, people are saying, what if that, you know, you've been told that they might come knocking on your door and you're made to have it, or whatever that goes. To me, I think, well, do you want to focus on that, or do you want to focus on the fact that this is all going to come out and it's just going to, you know, this word that it would stop. It's like, this is over. This game, I hate to say joke, I don't mean that in a detriment, you know, but this game of this part of the plan, this is done with now, you know. And whether you're ready to wake up to the fact about this illness, this disease, and what it is all about, here you go, you know, and it's over, it's done. So the people, although in shock, anger, whatever it might be, will be able to just open their bloody doors, take some fresh air without a mask, you know, and just go, hallelujah, hallelujah. Can't believe that we were made, we were controlled so much to allow this to happen to an entire planet, you know.
All right, let's see what I'm with you, Blossom. Let me see if there's any questions on here. Lynn Strasberg says, in the past year, I often woke up in the middle of the night to join a mass meditation group. We wouldn't have done that before this silly sanitary crisis, but I was overwhelmed with love. That's just a comment. Sorry.
Yeah, no, but it's you know, I think people with the mass meditations, I think they're really effective. You know, really
awesome.
effective. So for those who do it, and you know, and everything, it's you know, really makes a difference, I feel.
I agree. Greetings from Portugal. Greetings from the Netherlands. From Maria and Wanna Jump.
Thank you for staying up
You
so
guys.
late. Thank you.
Here's a question from Lynn. Where do you find the truth about the monoliths? You mentioned 199 so far.
Yeah. There's a monolith tracker, it's called, a site called monolithtracker.com. And it's got them all listed there, and where they are, whether they think they're for real, whether they were a setup, etc. It's got all the information there about it. So yeah, and I think, you know, that's gone a bit quiet as well at the moment. But I do think these things like the monolith, it's planting the seed for people. And again, they don't go into too much detail because I guess they can't, because it's like people, you know, if you are in a game, it's like telling the people that shouldn't know the strategies of what you're about to do, you know, and you don't want the other side, if you like, to find these things out. So there's only so much that they would say. But I think, again, in time, the whole monolith thing will become, because I find that very fascinating, you know, and I wouldn't know which is real and which ones aren't. I mean, you know, I certainly don't feel 199 of them are real. I do have a lady who's contacted me, and she says she's in contact with the Federation of Light, and they are helping her to do with monoliths and where they're placed, etc., etc. And when it's all done, she's going to let me know. So that would be quite interesting, you know, to see what that's all about. But yeah, that again is another. Definitely, there's for me, there some of them, I don't know how many, are not from here.
Yeah.
You know, somebody didn't ride on their bicycle in the middle of the night with a monolith on their shoulders.
Somewhere, yeah, no.
You
know, okay, yeah, but another question for you. Blossom, one of the channeling you did indicated news was intimate or imminent, sorry, or intimate, and said, buckle up. If one does those numbers, it's 901, so 19, so maybe 19th of February news. Me too. So talking to someone else. I'm not sure what that means. Do you know what that means?
No, I don't, man, because you know, numbers for me, you might as well be talking in Japanese or Swahili. I do not understand numbers at all. Numerology, astrology. I'm not knocking it in any way. It's just I was clearly having a gin and tonic when the numbers brains were given. It freaks me out, numbers. I don't understand them at all. So I can't help you on that one.
Okay. Thank you for tuning in again, Blue Light. I think it's a girl. I don't know. You were here this morning. Thank you. I had a live video this morning at 5 a.m.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Accidents can happen out of soul contract if someone has interfered, like spells. Do you have thoughts on that? No. Okay.
No, you know, truly, it's interesting, Cody, because a lot of people write in stuff, say like that or whatever, and that's just not in my field, you know. And I don't. I'm just a normal person that channels, channels, and there's such a wide scope of all that it entails, and I know very little about a lot of other stuff that a lot of other people do know a lot about, you know.
Someone was asking a question about someone had a love child with an alien or an ET. Is that possible for a human to have a child?
I'm not saying it's true or not because I don't have proof, but I would say yes, is my immediate reaction to that.
There you go, Mahano Capital. I'm not going to mention the person's name you said, but yeah, he was just asking about someone specific. Sorry about my dog. He's very needy right now. He wants attention. That's why he gets very upset if I don't pay attention to him. Okay. I don't know who Zarka is. Mahano Capital is a big fan of Zarka and her. I don't know what that is. Do you ever heard of Zarka?
No.
Okay, here's someone from New Zealand chiming in. Hello, Blossom.
Hello.
Hello, hello. What are Blossom's thoughts on Seth and Abraham? I don't know what that means.
I do. I love them. It's Abraham Hicks and
Okay.
channels, I would imagine, and absolutely top of the planet on channeling, I would say, or Esther, and bringing through Abraham. I think that their work is. When I say following them, I've been aware of them for many, 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 many years, and I used to, listen to a lot of podcasts and things like that. I actually did go to see Esther Hicks 4 years ago, but unfortunately, there's about 1,000 people in the room, and so I could have just as over watched it on video, really, because it was, she was over there, this tiny little thing, but just their information that they bring, that Abraham brings through, I think is absolutely first class. It's absolutely wonderful. I think she is amazing, and she can channel all day. She can stand there and just let them talk for hours and hours. Yeah, I think she's absolutely amazing. Certainly, they've helped me a lot in my life. I get I always get the Abraham. They do a daily quote that you can be sent through, and I always get that. Through. It just gives you that little reminder of how to be.
Who is Seth?
No, now you've got me a bit there. Seth, I know. Seth, loads of people are going, Blossom, don't you know? I'm very much aware of the name, but Seth is the channeled energy that Esther and Jerry Hicks first were in touch with. And there's the Seth books. There's volumes of it, which I don't think I've read, but they are very well renowned.
Okay. Yeah, I know Abraham. I love Esther Hicks too. I think they're brilliant.
Yeah.
I don't know if she would know. Jenny's asking, do you know who Wano Savan is? Who he truly is? Do you know?
No, I don't. No, no, I don't. I think some people were saying that he's JFK Jr. or something like that. Is that right? But then people have now said, no, he's definitely not that. So who knows? I don't know.
Yeah. I guess time will tell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buckle up. It's the gematria number is 901, which could be the 19th. Okay. Maheno says you seem like a very nice lady. Okay, well, no one else has any questions. Let me see if I had anything else. Just so people to raise their vibration. I know I help. It does help going. I am the light. I am the love. I am the truth. It has a very calming effect in meditating and getting quiet. Are there any other recommendations on how to raise the vibration and just stay connected?
I really think that most people, they know within themselves now, we've all been at this for a long time, and we're coming into our own now, I suppose. And I think a good thing is people are saying, I don't feel I've got any strength left. And if they're saying it's going to get more topsy-turvy, how are we going to be able to do what we came here to do? My feeling is that whenever we need our strength in any given situation, it will be given to us. It's in there. And so we'll find it. It'll just be like pressing a button and poof, there's our strength. We'll know exactly what to do. And I feel we'll just be, although it's already in there. So it's just a continuous flow. And yes, I'm, meditation, saying the mantra, people have walking on the beach, again, laughing, just anything that makes you feel good, as opposed to the opposite type of thing, really. And I think we're all grown up enough now within all of that to know what helps assists our each individual to to come into their own and be of joy, and stop listening to the crap, and all that kind of thing, and just do what brings you joy, even though that's much easier for me to say than if I was in the middle of the UK, stuck in amongst all that, and all they're fed is fear. It's I have a friend who said, in English, said, every time I go out, I think, oh, well, is this going to be the time I get it? And I think, well, that because that's all they're fed. So it's very different for people to try and find their happy vibe when they're stuck in all of that. It's far. So I think then people like me who can walk on the beach quite freely, and people who are able, then we do it for those people. We've got their back, and what we give out hopefully will be the ripple effect, for them as well.
And Queensland, have the shops not shut down? You haven't had anything shut down?
Well, yes, we have, but in general, so little. Yes, small businesses, etc., have. It's certainly, it's not like we have. You're supposed to have sanitizer when you go in the shop. They want you to scan, and you've got your little marks on the floor where you have to stand and all that kind of thing. But definitely, when I had a friend who came up from Melbourne, and she'd been in lockdown all year too. And, when she was here, she was like, oh my God, it's like going somewhere to another planet, because you can see people smile again, and you can see people's faces and all that. It's when you've been stuck and so used to that. Yeah. I mean, if I see maybe a couple going into the shop and they're wiping down the trolley and they've got their masks on, I'm like, oh, I just send them love, because that's where they're choosing to be. That's where they're in fear, and that's that. But it really isn't a common thing at all, because we don't have to do it, Yeah.
I can't imagine being in that mindset where you're just living in total fear and anxiety every day. That would be just total misery, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Well, do you have any thoughts on, Adam is asking, on how the world what it'll look like next year, or by next year? Just any intuition that you have?
No, I truly, as I say, I'm just like a normal, I don't foresee the future. I don't look into a crystal ball or anything like that. I just am like everybody else, Kelly, and it just so happens that I have this gift that I can, speak with these beings. And I don't know. I just feel we have to, I just want, like us all, I just want this over and done with. I just want things to start moving, so we can see the change that's going to happen, that we can actually tangibly, we can see things absolutely lifting, and truth coming out, and getting rid of the dark altogether, however that's meant to play out, and so that we can just live in a world where we belong, in a world full of light and world full of love. And as I say, that's up to us, really. It's up to us to keep the home fires burning, as they say. Yeah.
And that's what the Federation of Light does every week, right? Just give you, remind you why we're here, and make you feel good about it. And they've never been one to give specific, even since 2005 when you first started channeling them, they've never given specific information like what's going to happen, right? It's always been very general, like about love. And
yeah. I mean, because that's why they come, and that's, they always say that is their mission, and I guess, like, as well, they never they never knew what was going to happen, perhaps, but how it's all playing out, between them and my conversations, that's how we're playing it out as it takes place. It's they're going with the flow type of thing as much as we all are, or trying our best to do.
So the other people, there are psychics that do channel but they say Galactic Federation, right? Like Lori Ladd and Elizabeth April are two that I watch on YouTube. And so Galactic Federation would be the very big group, and what you're channeling is the Federation of Light, which is a very small group. Is that right?
I truly don't know, but I can't comment particularly on that, because I would imagine within the Galactic Federation there are very many groups, and different people are channeling different. My feelings are different beings or different groups from this huge organization. You know, I think it is so vast. So you know, it's entirely, and I don't feel the Federation of Light are a small group. I don't know how to express them,
or
really.
A subset of the galactic, I guess is what I meant. They're
Sorry, a what?
like a subset of the Galactic Federation.
Yes, or yeah, it's so vast, and it's so beyond my understandings, and I think beyond all of our understandings, really, because we are just stuck in this 3D density where it's so difficult to see beyond it. You know, I do think as the veil lifts and the vibration gets higher, that there will be so much more that we are able, you know, to comprehend and go, oh, I get that now. Oh yeah, I see that bit now, you know.
Yeah, it would be nice for things to calm down, to be not so feeling out of control. Not out of control, that's probably not the right way to describe it, but just not having the energy and the up and go that I used to have.
I think everybody's the same because of the, as I say, the conscious energy at the moment. But it's going to change. I know it is. We just don't know when. We don't know when, but it will. That's why we're here. You know, that's why we're here, and we know that deep inside. No matter what's going on, deep inside, we know. As I keep saying, we've got this. We've got this.
Got this. You know. All right. Let me see if you guys have any other questions before we move on. Adam says, a friend of mine lives on a special hill in town, and he says he sees large blue beings. He says they have been here for a very long time. Any idea who that might be? Large blue beings?
Well, I've heard of the blue avions, I think they're called. You know, they're so... My thing would be, well, why doesn't your friend ask them, you know, who they are, type thing, or because clearly if your friend is able to see them, then they are, he's able to get into that vibration of them. So there must be a reason somehow, I feel, that, you know, perhaps communication could take place. You know, as I say, I don't know answers to so many of these things. I just don't. You know, somebody else might be able to go, oh yes, they're so-and-so from so-and-so planet. I don't know. I truly, there's so much I don't know.
Oh, we love the messages that you channel every week, and I love it. As soon as it pops up, I'm like, Blossom channels. I'm like, oh, yay. Because usually I'm lying in bed, I just listen to it and I go to sleep, and it's just nice to, just calming. And Joe's voice is awesome. I love his voice.
Yeah, as do many. God bless Joe. God bless Joe.
You're so good together. Like, you ask the questions, and it's like you're channeling right then and there. It feels like you are, and then he answers.
I mean, I'll just say, because many people perhaps don't know that. So I channel on my computer, and I just ask my questions, get the answers, and I channel and I write it all down, and then I post that channeling, and then I record my voice. I send it to Joe. Joe then records the Federation's heart and reads that on their behalf, and then he mixes them together. Bless him. I send my bit to Joe, he mixes them together, and that's how it comes back. Because some people think, I'm not sure, but I can see if people didn't know that, get it from on my website, the original posting, and not the YouTube. If they just go to the YouTube, they must wonder, well, how does that all work? Is Joe the Federation? You know, is he the channeler of their type thing? But no, so that's how that works. Yeah, God bless Joe 1,000 times.
Yeah, I read it too, but I get much more from it by listening. Just the voice.
People do both. People prefer to read. Some people prefer just the audio. As you say, some people do both. Entirely up to the individual.
Yeah, personal preference for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Thank you, Dwayne. Will we be able to enter ships in the future? I don't think Blossom has these answers, but I think we will. We'll just say that's a yes.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, how far into the future? Who knows? You know, things can change so dramatically, just like that. You know, it's. I don't. Who knows? Some people are going, but oh, this is going to go on for 10, 20 years. Well, dear God, I hope not. But you know, I don't feel that. I feel that once the change starts, things are going to start moving really, really quickly, you know, I think, because it'll be ready. Everything will be in place to do so, whatever it's all going to be.
Yeah. Whatever that is.
And we have to hold on to that, you know, we have to hold on to that. Yeah.
Okay, so on Sundays is usually when it comes. I don't pay attention to when the video comes out. Is it usually Sundays when you post it?
Well, it's funny because people say, oh, every Sunday, you know, I can't wait for every Sunday. And I think, oh, there's a bit of pressure. I mean, usually it does come out on a Sunday, but sometimes it just doesn't. But I used to do the recording. I sort of 3 days afterwards, I think, oh my God, I haven't recorded the channeling, I've forgotten all about it. Whereas now I make it a point of doing it straight away. The minute I've about to post it up, I then record mine and send it off to Joe. But of course, for Joe, he might be asleep, you know, because he's in, he's not in Australia. So it's when Joe, and he has to go to work and all this kind of thing. So it's when Joe has got the time to then read his bit and then put the whole thing together, because it takes, you know, a good bit of time, you know, bless him. So for those who want to make a little donation to Joe for all that, there is a donation button underneath all the channelings. I'm sure he would be very grateful.
Have you ever done it on the fly, like just made a video and be like channel right then while you're recording and be like, okay, here's the answer, ask the question and then get the answer? Or no, it's better. The
only time that because the Federation don't speak through me very often at all. They have done, and it's quite difficult. I say it's quite difficult because it's I don't know why, but it's not so easy to do, and so we don't do it very often, basically. So I don't think we could work that way. When they do come through and have spoken, it's just there isn't me going, oh, can I ask you this? Can I ask you that? Because they're just in, and you know, it doesn't work the same way as when White Cloud is in with me.
Yeah, White Cloud, you transform and you start talking through. But I thought Federation, it would just, you get a thought in your head, you get the answer, and then you tell us what the thought is. But it doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't. You know, people say, can you ask the Federation this? And I think, well, if I could just go, oh, do it, and then reply to that person, it would be easy. But for some reason, I don't know why, Kelly, it just isn't like that. You know, I need to sit down in my session type of thing and go like, here we go for the hour. You know, it just seems to be, whether that will change, I don't know.
Well, I think it's so cool that you do it. I wish I had that channeling ability. I downloaded a class on just learning how to do it, but it hasn't happened.
Yeah, it's just what, I guess maybe it's just because that's part of my journey. I learned as I went.
Natural for you.
Yeah. And so people say, can you do courses and teach us how to channel? I think, no, I can't, because I don't know how it works. You know, I really don't. For me, it's just I tune in and there it is. So you know, I don't know how to teach.
Hard to explain.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to Vegas, Adam. Okay. I think that was it. So thank you so much for coming here. I always love seeing you.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. It's a tricky time, isn't it? Because I thought, I wonder what we're going to talk about, because we're sort of in limbo at the moment with everything, and it's so difficult for it's such a strange time, you know. But I guess if I had anything to finish with, it would just be keeping on doing your best to remain centered in and love yourself. You know, love yourself, give all that love. When you're down, just don't beat yourself up, love yourself more, and that love, you know, will then go out to everyone. We just send love, say the mantra, keep saying the mantra. And I might just say before I go, I asked for people to send in videos of them saying the I am the light, I am the love, and I'm putting it together in well, that was in November. I might have it finished by the end of this week. And there was over 100 videos, and it was a project to do and enjoy, but I've had to, you know, it's I've learned so much on the movie program and all that kind of thing. So it's nearly finished, and I'm hoping to get it out soon. I think people that sent their videos in must have been like, "Well, she clearly just dropped that one." No, I haven't. It's still going, and I'm nearly done. So that should be fun to watch. Yeah.
Videos, that's a lot to put together.
Yeah, it was so lovely to have so many people just, say hello, and in different languages and all sorts. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to watch. Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Kelly, thank you so much for inviting me, and thank you to everybody, those who've stayed up in the middle of the night or whatever. Thank you so much for joining today, and I hope that in some way it's helped raise your vibration.
Oh, it definitely has. It has for me and Sammy. So we're all good to go here. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks,
everybody.
Bye.